An Italian flag raising held in Springfield today.
That's just one of the stops we make as Western Mass News goes town by town. Mayor Dominic Sarno and officials joined with the Italian Cultural Center of Western Mass Incorporated to raise the Italian flag in honor of Italian Heritage Month on the front steps of City Hall on this afternoon.
Now to Chicopee, where the police department, along with law enforcement agencies across the country, will be supporting the Pink Patch Project during the month of October. The Pink Patch Project was created to bring attention to the fight against breast cancer and to support breast cancer research. The funds raised by the sale of these patches will be donated to a local charity. Patches can be purchased at the police station for $10 Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 3:45 p.m.
When we come back, Jana has one last look at our First Alert forecast.